Hi, welcome to another video for the Lat 23 program. My name is Chris. As you've probably seen before, I've been doing some beginner guitar lessons with acoustic guitar. This month I'm going to try a little something a little different. We're going to go with some ukulele classes. Cool. So the ukulele is a small string instrument. It's very much related to the guitar, and I think, in my personal opinion, it's the perfect way to segue onto the guitar. So whether you're small, like a little child or a kid, or you're just a beginner adult that wants to dabble a little bit and you're thinking about guitar in the future, I think this is a really great way to start without hurting yourself so much on your fingers. A lot of people really have a hard time with the metal strings on an acoustic guitar, so this is a much easier way to get into it. This one has some nylon strings, as you can probably see. It has only 4 strings, and it does represent a higher register of the guitar, but in essence, all the shapes and the patterns are very similar. So it's a great segue instrument, or gateway instrument. In any event, if you follow some of my other classes, make sure to get your ukulele in tune, okay? And I'm gonna give you a reference tone or the tuning on this ukulele so you can tune yours to mine, okay? And we can play together. So let's start with the G string. Okay, the next one is the C string. The next one is E. And the next one is A. It's pretty simple. Now, another difference that it has from an acoustic guitar, it's the first 4 strings on the acoustic guitar and about a 5th higher in tonality. So this one would start on the 5th fret of the guitar, if you guys are familiar with that. And the 4th string, the one at the top, is going to be an octave higher. Okay, so it has some differences, but essentially we play it the same way. Okay, so on this class, we're gonna go over the basics. Okay, the way that you hold a ukulele, and we're gonna get started right away with some chords because it's fairly easy. We're gonna learn 3 chords today. And those 3 chords are going to be the basis for a lot of the songs and a lot of songs that we're going to hit in the future. Okay, so we're going to start with the C chord, which is probably the easiest chord you can learn on the ukulele. Okay, so if you have a reference with the guitar video, we're counting the strings from the lowest to the highest. Okay, as far as direction is concerned. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the frets work the same way. This is fret number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay. Now the C chord is pretty simple. We're gonna go ahead and use our ring finger right here, finger number 3. Okay, and with the thumb in the back, I usually keep it behind fret number 2, right here. So we're going to go ahead and use finger number 3, and we're going to place it on fret number 3, string number 1. Okay, and we're going to put some down pressure on it. Not a lot, because ukulele is a little simpler to play, and it requires less pressure, so it won't hurt your fingers so much. So this would sound this way. So in order to check yourself, you got to make sure that each note is nice and clean without any buzzing or any muting there. So let's go ahead and check that. Cool. So we have the first chord, that's the C major chord. Okay, and we're going to start it with the basic rhythm that we learned before. Okay, so we'll learn the simple rhythm. It's going to be, we're going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to be the rhythm that we're going to do. So that translates onto this. So I use my thumb and my index on the strings here on the strumming hand. Feel free to do that just to start. I think it's a bit easier. And a good introduction for you. So we're gonna do 3 down strums with your thumb, 1 up strum with the index, and then an extra down strum with your thumb. So it'll sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that rhythm translates onto a lot of songs. So you can do it that way, but we're going to start very slowly, and we're going to start 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you saw, I do 3 down strums with the thumb, 1 up strum with the index, 1 down strum with the thumb again, okay? Perfect. So let's move on to the next chord. The next chord is gonna be F. Now, if the first chord only took 1 finger, right, the third finger, this next chord is gonna take 2 fingers, so it's a bit more challenging, and the third chord is gonna take 3 fingers, so we'll work on that. So F is gonna take your index finger and place it on the first fret, so on this fret, on string number 2. So go right here. And then your next finger, which is your middle finger, will go on the 4th string, fret number 2. And so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna check our chord to make sure all the notes are nice and clean. Sounds pretty clean to me. And then it's gonna sound like this. So if we use the same rhythm, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's nice. So now if I alternate the first chord, C major, and the second chord, F major, we'll see what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds pretty cool, right? So we're getting somewhere here. It's starting to sound a little bit like music. Sorry, that's the chair making that squeaking noise. So it's starting to sound a little bit like music. The next chord and the last chord of this series is going to be the G chord. Okay, the G chord is going to take 3 fingers, a little bit more challenging, but we'll get there. Okay, practice and consistency. So finger number 1 is going to go on the 3rd string, fret number 2. So that's right over here. Okay. If you see what I'm doing with my hand, I'm kind of twisting it over towards the headstock over here so that my fingers fall a certain way. So now they're kind of pointing down that way. My nails are pointing down that way. So now the middle finger is you're gonna skip a string and you're gonna stay on fret 2, but you're gonna press on string number 1. And then finger number 3, we're gonna go ahead and place on fret number 3 and string number 2. So essentially, if you really look at it hard enough, it looks kind of like a triangle shape. So the way that's gonna sound, we're gonna check our notes first. Sounds pretty good. That's gonna sound like this. So if we apply a rhythm, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. A little slower is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, So now I'm gonna alternate all 3 chords and see what that sounds like, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. To F. To G. Back to C. Sounds pretty good to me. So now, a good exercise or a good little tune to leave off on this lesson is with all 3 chords. Okay, we're gonna start with a new song on the next lesson, but for now, practice these 3 chords and practice them with this little tune. Okay, so it's gonna start with C. I'm gonna do it very slow throughout first, and then I'm gonna do it faster so you know what it's supposed to sound like. So let's go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the little tune. So now this is part of what they call a 1-4-5 tune. It's very popular in music, in Western music, and you can find it in blues, it's in jazz, and pop music, all over the place. It's very, very popular. So it's the basis for a lot of our music that we listen to today. Okay, so anyway, I'll leave you with this. Go ahead and practice this tune. I'm gonna play it for you, and I guess I'll catch you guys on the next video. 1, 2, 3, 4. See ya.